Good evening, everyone. I am Rodolph Roman, the Community Outreach Specialist for the project on State Road Northwest 27th Avenue, or sorry, State Road 9 Northwest 27th Avenue, from Northwest 39th Street to South State Road 934 Northwest 79th Street. We will begin at around 6 p.m. our presentation. We thank you for joining us this evening. If you have any questions, you can submit those questions on the questions box located on the right-hand side of your control panel. You can also ask or give us comments during the Q&A portion, which will follow after the presentation. All you have to do is just press the raise your hand button. And once you do that, we will open up the microphone for you. But in the meantime, we will get started around 6 o'clock. Once again, you can provide your comments or your questions under the questions box. And we will begin again at around 6 p.m. or just a little after. We'll give some time to folks to log in. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Rodolph Roman, Community Outreach Specialist for the roadway project on State Road 9, Northwest 27th Avenue from Northwest 39th Street to State Road 934, Northwest 79th Street. We will begin a little after 6 p.m. We will get started with our presentation, followed by our questions and answers portion. In the meantime, you can submit your question or comment by typing it in the questions box, which is located on the right-hand side of your control panel. You can also interact with our team, which is available tonight here. You can ask some questions in relation to the project, and you can simply do so by just clicking on the raise your hand button on your control panel as well. Again, we will get started just a little after 6. Go ahead and provide us with your questions, and we will be right back. Good evening, everyone. I'm Rodolph Roman, Community Outreach Specialist for the roadway project on Northwest 27th Avenue from Northwest 39th Street to State Road 934, Northwest 79th Street. We will begin at around 6 or a little after. We're going to make some time here so folks can join us. However, in the meantime, you can submit your questions or comments by submitting it on the questions box located right there on the control panel, or you can go ahead and speak to our team who are available tonight, answer any questions regarding to this project. You can do so by pressing on the raise your hand button located on your control panel as well. Again, we'll get started just a little after 6. We'll start off with the presentation, and then we'll go into the Q&A portion. Again, we'll be starting in just a few minutes. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Rodolfo Roman, Community Outreach Specialist for the project on State Road 9 Northwest 27th Ave from Northwest 39th Street to State Road 934 Northwest 79th Street. We'll begin the meeting in just a few minutes. I see some folks making their way in through. We thank you for your joining us this evening. So just give us a few more minutes. Let's give some more time, some members of the public to join us in this virtual public meeting. In the meantime, we welcome any questions. You can submit them on the questions box located right there on your control panel. And you could also interact with our engineers that are available here this evening. Our project team is available to take any questions or comments. You can do so by simply pressing the raise your hand button, and we will be unmuting you and you can go ahead and ask questions to our team. So just a few more minutes and we will get started. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. We will get started with the virtual public meeting in 2 minutes. 2 minutes, we will get started with a project for State Road 9, Northwest 27th Avenue from Northwest 39th Street to State Road 934, Northwest 79th Street. Okay, we'll get started in just 2 minutes. Again, submit your questions in the question box located on the control panel, or you can simply press the raise your hand button and you can speak to our project team available this evening. Thank you. Hey, good evening, everyone. I am Rodolfo Roman, the Community Outreach Specialist for State Road 9, Northwest 27th Avenue from Northwest 39th Street, State Road 934, Northwest 79th Street. Again, this is the virtual public meeting, and we thank you for joining us this evening. Now, if you're experiencing any technical difficulties, you can contact Michelle Pruitt at 786-531-3798 or reach her by email at michelle@icprgroup.com so that she can assist you. I'd also like to mention that due to the state of emergency declared by Governor DeSantis in Executive Order 2052 as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, this meeting is authorized to be held virtually and not in person. Also, just a friendly reminder that this virtual public meeting is also being recorded and it will be available for viewing once we are completed on our project page. I'd like to get through first our meeting agenda. We'll first go through our rules of engagement. We'll be meeting our project team available this evening, our non-discrimination policy, our project location, the schedule and cost of the project, the scope of work, what to expect, and the maintenance of traffic. And we'll top it off with the questions of answers portion. Now, before we get going, I'd like to acknowledge any public officials that are joining us this evening. If we have any elected officials joining us, you can please press the raise your hand button. Or if you are also with a municipality or agency, we'd like to acknowledge you as well. You can press the raise your hand button and we'll make sure to acknowledge you here this evening. Our rules of engagement will consist of attendees that will remain unmuted throughout the meeting except for the open discussion session. Use the raise hand button on your GoToWebinar panel to provide a comment. Provide your full name first, followed by the address and comment. Attendees are welcome to submit questions and comments using the GoToWebinar question panel, and a member of the team will respond during the open discussion. Participants will have about 3 minutes to ask questions and provide comments. You will begin with a presentation and followed by comments and questions. And if you are, once again, you have not pre-registered, you will not be able to provide any comments during the meeting. However, you can call 786-531-3798. Reach out to Michelle, or you can email her at michelle@icprgroup.com to provide your comment. Tonight's presentation is available at the link which you are seeing on your screen. And you will also be receiving an email as well to see information about this project. Now, the project team will remain until 8 p.m. So if you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask us. Our project team available this evening includes Ms. Baoying Wang, Mr. Jason Chang, they are our project managers, our project engineer of records, Mr. Hans Ribik, Mahir Maliki, and then myself with Ribik Engineering, and myself, I am the community outreach specialist for Dolphin Road. As far as the non-discrimination policy, sorry about that. The Florida Department of Transportation is required to comply with various non-discrimination laws and regulations, including Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Public participation at this virtual public meeting is solicited without regard to race, color, national origin, age, sex, religion, disability, or family status. Persons wishing to express their concerns about Title VI may do so by contacting District 6 Title VI Coordinator Irene Varela at 305-470-5342, or by writing an FDOT, the address there, 1000 Northwest 111th Avenue, Miami, Florida 33172, or by email at irene.varela@dot.state.fl.us. You can also reach our State Title VI Coordinator, Ms. Jacqueline Paramore, at 850-414-4753, or by writing at Equal Opportunity Office. The address 605 Suwannee Street, MS 65, Tallahassee, Florida 32399, and the email is jacqueline.paramore@dot.state.fl.us. And with that said, I am now going to give the floor to Mr. Hans Ribik, who will give us the information on the upcoming roadway project. Hans?
Thank you, Rodolfo. Good evening, everybody. Well, this slide shows a project location. This project is along State Road 9, Northwest 27th Avenue, from Northwest 39th Street to south of Northwest 79th Street. In addition, this project also includes minor widening along Northwest 41st Street between the off-ramp of State Road 112 to the Northwest 27th Avenue intersection. The total project length is 2.3 miles. The project information, the purpose and need of this job, the Florida Department of Transportation has a duty to prolong the lifespan of the pavement and provide a safe sidewalk path and accessibility for the public. For this reason, the department is performing a resurfacing, restoration, and rehabilitation project. This project is within unincorporated Miami-Dade County. These are some milestones and some information related to the job. The design production is scheduled for January 2021, in 3 months. The letting date is scheduled for May 2021. The construction is scheduled to begin on September 2021. We anticipate 400 days of construction duration. The end of construction is scheduled for October 2022, and the total construction cost is $6 million. The project scope is basically milling and resurfacing the roadway, as well as restriping the road. We're also going to be removing abandoned driveways. We will be upgrading drainage inlets that are in conflict with new pedestrian ramps. In addition to that, we're going to be widening the eastern leg of Northwest 41st Street between the off-ramp of State Road 112 and Northwest 27th Avenue in order to provide 3 standard travel lanes. Basically, we're just widening 6 feet to increase from 9 feet to 11 feet each of the travel lanes. We will also be upgrading pedestrian curb ramps, signing and pedestrian markings throughout the corridor, installing new crosswalks with pedestrian signals at Northwest 43rd Street, Northwest 60th Street, Northwest 65th Street, and Northwest 75th Street. In addition, we'll be reconstructing and enhancing the sidewalks along the road and upgrading guardrail and street signs. What to expect? Well, the project speed limit is 35 miles per hour. During MOT, it's going to remain the same. And as I mentioned before, the current project is under design. The maintenance of traffic. There's going to be 3 maintenance of traffic phases. Lane closure will occur during non-peak hours, which are between 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Weekdays and weekends. Between 9 p.m. through 5:30 a.m. Sundays through Thursday nights, and between 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Friday and Saturday nights. Access will remain for vehicles, bicycles, and pedestrians at all times. The maintenance of traffic will consist of 3 phases. We'll have phase 1, in which the inside lanes are going to be closed to allow work along the median. Phase 2, the outside lanes will be closed to allow work on the sidewalks. The lane and sidewalk closure will be only allowed at 1 bout at a time. And the final phase, phase 3, we're going to be milling and resurfacing as a moving operation. Bicyclists are going to continue to share the outside lane with traffic, and pedestrian detours will be clearly marked. And we anticipate to have, at least as I mentioned before, one of the sidewalk sides open at all times. This is the project plan. Basically, we split the project in different segments to fit them within the presentation. This is a segment between Northwest 39th Street to 42nd Terrace. As you can see here, we are upgrading all the sign and marking and pedestrian curb ramps. You can also see the widening along Northwest 41st Street, eastern leg. I'm gonna show you at the end of the presentation a better slide showing all the improvements along 41st Street. This segment is between 43rd Terrace to Northwest 46th Street. You can observe the upgrade of the high emphasis crosswalks, pedestrian ramps, and we are also adding refugee islands in order to improve safety to pedestrians crossing 27th Avenue. This slide is between Northwest 47th Street to Northwest 49th Street. Again, we're adding refugee pedestrian islands and high emphasis crosswalks. This is a segment between Northwest 49th Street to Northwest 51st Street. You can notice here the pedestrian curb ramps upgrades at the signalized intersection of Northwest 50th Street, as well as the refugee islands that we're proposing. This is a segment between 52nd Street to 53rd Street. In the middle section of this segment, you can see the Brownsville Metro Rail Station. We're doing some guardrail upgrades to protect the piers of the Miami-Dade Metro Rail. This is a segment between Northwest 54th Street to Northwest 55th Terrace. Again, you can see the upgrades to the signalized intersection of Northwest 54th Street. We're upgrading pedestrian detectors, curb ramps, high emphasis crosswalk, and also we're providing guardrail along the median to protect the Metro Rail piers. This is a segment between Northwest 56th Street to Northwest 58th Street. Pretty much we're providing the same improvements, guardrail along the median, upgrading the crosswalks to high emphasis, and providing refugee island on the southern leg of Northwest 56th Street. This is a segment between Northwest 59th Street to Northwest 61st Street. We're doing upgrades to the signalized intersection of Northwest 60th Street, including high emphasis crosswalks, new ped ramps, and new pedestrian signal features, as well as 2 refugee islands to improve safety for pedestrians crossing Northwest 27th Avenue. This is a segment between Northwest 62nd Street to 64th Street. Here we have the Martin Luther King Jr. Metro Rail Station. We're upgrading the ped ramps as well as the sidewalk to improve pedestrian accessibility to the Metro Rail station. We're also doing upgrades to the intersection at Northwest 62nd Street. This segment is the one between Northwest 65th Street to Northwest 67th Street. We're adding a median refugee island for pedestrians, and we're also upgrading the pedestrian signal features. This is a mid-block crossing that we have at Northwest 65th Street. And this is a segment between Northwest 68th Street to Northwest 69th Street. We're upgrading guardrail to shield the Metro Rail piers, and also curb ramps are being upgraded as well. This is a segment between Northwest 70th Street to Northwest 72nd Street. We're doing upgrades to the signalized intersection of Northwest 71st Street, including adding a refugee island, new crosswalks with high emphasis, as well as new curb ramps with new pedestrian signal features. And as you can see, we're also upgrading guardrail along the median to mitigate and protect the MDT Metro Rail piers. This is a segment between Northwest 73rd Street to Northwest 74th Street. Here we have the FEC Railroad Crossing. We're doing or implementing dynamic envelope marking and signage for this railroad crossing to advise vehicles of this crossing. And we're also upgrading all pedestrian ramps within this segment. And finally, this is a segment between Northwest 75th Street to Northwest 79th Street. Again, we're doing upgrades to the signalized intersection at Northwest 75th Street, including high emphasis crosswalks, new ped ramps, new pedestrian signal features, adding a refugee island on the southern leg of Northwest 75th Street, and upgrading, of course, all the pavement markings and signage. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, this is a slide showing a zoom in of the Northwest 41st Street widening. Basically, we currently have 3 9-foot wide lanes, and this is a safety improvement as part of this 3R project, in which we are widening 6 feet to be able to accommodate or increase the width of each travel lane from 9 feet to 11 feet to increase safety between vehicles and mitigate crashes on this intersection. And this slide shows a current picture of the project on the left-hand side. As you can see, we have the cracked sidewalk. We have a utility strip in between the curb and the sidewalk that is really hard to maintain. You can see all the cracking on the pavement. And you can see here the Metro Rail piers. On the right-hand side, this is a rendering that we put together. This is how the corridor is going to look after the improvements. We're going to be reconstructing the sidewalk, removing the 2 feet utility strip in order to provide wider sidewalks that's going to improve pedestrian accessibility throughout the corridor. And of course, we're going to be milling and resurfacing the pavement that should extend the service life of the pavement at least 20 more years. And we are replacing all the pavement markings throughout the corridor. With this, if you have any questions, we're here to answer. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Hans. I'd like to also, once again, if you are an elected official or staff with any of the agencies, please press the button on your control panel, the raise your hand button, so we can acknowledge you. You can go ahead and submit your questions as well, as we will be going ahead and sharing it with our team here available tonight. We also have available a handout that you can download. It's what we call the roll plot, essentially what has just showed you. You can just download that on your control panel available, and all the information, all of the slides, the presentation itself will be available on the project page, which you will see in just a few. But I'd like to first go out and read the rules here for the questions and answers portion. Again, you can submit your questions in the question box. I see some of them coming in already. We thank you for that. After addressing comments in the question box, we will open, sorry about that. We will open the microphones. If you aren't able to answer your question, the project team will provide a written response after the meeting. If you would like to speak, please raise your hand. And once again, you can press it right there in your control panel. Participants will have 3 minutes to provide comments and questions to allow others to speak. Staff will be available to answer questions in the order they are received and as time permits. Your question is not responded to during the meeting. A response will be provided in writing following the meeting. And by the way, once again, I'd like to remind you, we will be here until 8 p.m. available. This is my contact. If you want to and share some of your comments and questions, you can reach to me by cell phone at 786-519-7160 or by email at roman@iscprgroup.com. If you'd like to learn about other projects within the district, you can visit FDOTmiamidade.com. And the slides that we showed you just a few seconds ago are available on the project page, which you can see right there on your screen. And as you exit the meeting, there will be a short survey that we appreciate it if you can take. Very, very appreciate that. Okay, team, we're going to take a question right now that came in. Just give us a few seconds here as I pull this up. Again, you still have the, go ahead and share your question by submitting in the question box, or you can raise your hand on the control panel. Okay, team, this question comes from Mr. Charles Sims. He wants to know, will this project involve any eminent domain or taking of private property for this project?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Sims. No, it does not. We do not have any right-of-way acquisition as part of this project.
Okay, another question from Mr. Sims again. I own the property between Northwest 44th Street and Northwest 45th Street on 27th Avenue Northwest. There are currently 3 curb cuts on my property frontage. Will these curb cuts be maintained or will they be removed? Now, with this project, now Hans, you give me a second here. I can go on Google Earth real sec, just to pull up that area.
Can you open the roll plot that
Yeah.
I sent you? That will be better.
Okay, bear with me here. Pull that up. We'll pull up the roll plot. Once again, you can share your questions by submitting in on the question box you can provide. Here is the roll plot.
Is your property on the eastern or western side, Mr. Sims?
Let's see if he can respond here. Yeah, he did not say if it's on what side it was. Mr. Sims, I can go ahead and open up the microphone
On the west side, okay.
on the west side, okay. Can you see that there, Hans?
Yeah, can I zoom in there?
Yeah,
Let's
go
zoom
right
in.
ahead. Go right ahead. Go right ahead. Got it?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Okay. Yeah, there it is.
I assume this is your property, right? Between Northwest 44th and Northwest 45th.
Yeah, that's his property.
Okay, so basically there's two driveways right there that are gonna remain as they are. We're gonna reconstruct the sidewalk connecting to those existing driveways, as you can see here on the screen. And the pedestrian ramps for the crossings on the side streets on Northwest 46 and Northwest 45th will be reconstructed. But everything is within FDOT right away, so it should not impact your property at all. I'm not sure if I'm answering. Okay.
Yeah. He's here. Thank you, Mr. Sims, for your question. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to submit it on the question box. Or if you'd like to speak, you can press the raise your hand button on your control panel, and we can go ahead and open up your microphone and you can speak to us. Again, we'll be here until 8 p.m. Answering some questions. In the meantime, team, we do have some additional questions that we submitted. So see if we have any other questions. No,
Mr. Horst has a question
yes,
for you, Rodolfo.
Yes, Mr. Hurst. He has asked team that if he can be signed up to receive project updates and construction updates regarding this project. Thank you for providing your email, Mr. Hurst, and absolutely we will make you a part of the mailing list. In regards to the construction updates, so right now we are in the design phase. There will be a time when this project will go into the construction period, and a new team, just like ourselves, will be reaching out to the public, and then they will have more thorough details as far as updates. But as far as in design, absolutely, we will add you to any updates, and we will add you to our email database. Thank you for that. We will go ahead and do that. All right, team, another project that we just received. Actually, we received this earlier from Mr. Sims, but I'll read it out here just in case. He wants to know where FDOT would be staging and storing materials for the project. Team?
Okay. Well, basically, that's typically decided by the contractor after the project is awarded to the contractor. So most likely it's gonna be decided around September 2021 before construction starts. Typically, the contractor will rent an empty lot within the project limits, and he will use that as a staging area. But if we cannot anticipate where, that's a decision that the contractor will have to take.
Another question we received. How is reconstructing of driveways going to impact any businesses' access?
I really don't anticipate any impact to business access. As part of the project scope, we are removing a few abandoned driveways, but we did the due diligence of coordinating with all the affected property owners, and we didn't have any opposition during those meetings. There's a few driveways that present cracks and present tripping hazards to pedestrians. So these driveways will be reconstructed to mitigate the tripping hazards. It's only a few, and we have ensured that the properties affected will have access at all times during construction. So basically, typically the business in which we are reconstructing a driveway, they have two driveways. So they will always have the other driveway available in order to access a business. the worst case scenario, if there's a property that has only one driveway, what they do is during construction is that they construct half of the driveway and allow access through the other portion that is existing. So, there will always be access to business at all times.
The question here, will there be any night work or work on the weekends? And if so, what are the times?
Well, as per FDOT standard working hours, a contractor has the option to work during nighttime or during weekends, but he has to work, of course, during non-peak hours and on non-event days. Non-peak hours on weekends are between 9 p.m. and 5:30 a.m. Sunday, and between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. Friday and Saturday. So yes, they have the option to work during weekends, but it has to be during non-peak hours and during non-event days.
Once again, our team is available here this evening to take your questions in regards to this project on Northwest 27th Avenue. We appreciate you joining us this evening. You can do so by submitting your questions on the comment box, or we can open up the microphones. Just click on the raise your hand button and we will take your questions. I have another question here, team. Will there be any noise during construction?
I mean, as per FDOT specs, noise is going to be controlled or monitored during construction. So I really don't anticipate any loud noise based on the scope of work. It's basically milling and resurfacing, a concrete sidewalk replacement, and minor widening. But as I mentioned, regardless, as per FDOT specs, the noise levels need to be monitored during construction to ensure that it's not going to affect the public and the adjacent properties.
Okay, let's see, we have another response here. Once again, we welcome you to the project, to the public meeting here for Northwest 27th Avenue. If you have any questions, you can submit it on the question box, or you can simply just click on the raise your hand button and we will open up your microphones to speak. As of right now, team, we don't have any questions. We don't have anyone raising your hands. In the meantime, I'd like to just send a friendly reminder that we will be on until 8 p.m. Eastern time. So just in case, if you guys have any follow-up questions, we will be available here until 8. So another hour and a half, we'll be here taking your questions. So we'll be back. We'll be on here. If you have any questions, again, submit it there on your questions box or just raise your hand. I would like to also put in my information for my contact. You'll see that on your screen, or you can call me at 786-519-7160 or by email at roman@iscprgroup.com. And you will also be receiving a link to see the recording of this meeting by email shortly after the meeting is over with. So with that said, again, we'll be here until 8 p.m. If you have any questions, we'll be available and we'll be able to go ahead and answer for you. In the meantime, we'll be here. So once again, welcome to the virtual public meeting for State Road 9, Northwest 27th Avenue from Northwest 39th Street to South State Road 934, Northwest 79th Street. If you missed our presentation, it's available on the link that you're looking at your screen right now. That's the link that's available. If you have any questions or if you'd like to speak to our engineers available this evening, you can do so by submitting your question on the question box, or you can click on the raise your hand button on your control panel. We will be available until 8 p.m. Once again, go ahead and submit your questions. Or if you'd like to reach out to us, you can contact me, Rodolfo Roman, at the number that you're looking at on your screen, 786-519-7160, or by email, roman@iscprgroup.com. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the public meeting for Northwest 27th Avenue to Northwest 39th Street to Northwest 79th Street. If you're just joining us, the presentation is available on the project page. The link is available on your screen. We will be here until 8 p.m. If you want to share your comments or questions, you could submit them on the question box, or you can also press the raise your hand button and we'll take your call. Thank you very much. We'll be here again, once again, until 8 p.m. Hello, once again, welcome to our virtual public meeting for Northwest 27th Avenue, State Road 9 from Northwest 39th Street to Northwest 79th Street. Thank you for joining us. If you just joined us, you can submit your questions in the question box, or you can join us and ask your question by clicking on the raise your hand button. We will go ahead and take your phone call. In the meantime, again, we'll be here until 8 p.m. if you have any questions. Thank you. Hello, everyone. If you're just joining us, thank you for joining us here this evening for the project on Northwest 27th Avenue. If you have any questions, you can submit it on our questions box, or you can simply click the raise your hand button on your control panel, and you can speak to our team. We will be available until 8 p.m. If you missed the presentation, you can obtain information by visiting our project page. Thank you very much. Again, we'll be here until 8 p.m. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to the public meeting from Northwest 27th Avenue, from Northwest 39th Street to Northwest 39th Street. We will be on until 8 p.m., so you got 10 minutes joining us. Feel free to submit your comments and questions in the question box, or we can go ahead and open up your microphone. Just click on the raise your hand button. Our staff or our project team is available this evening to take any questions. If you'd like to go ahead and see our presentation, it's available on the project page as we speak, and you can download it. Thank you very much. Once again, we'll be here until 8 p.m. Thank you. All right, everyone, thank you very much for joining us this evening. The video, it will be available on the project page, and if you attended, you will also be receiving the link to the video to see the presentation. But the presentation is available at the link shown on your screen. If you have any further questions, you can call me at 786-519-7160 or by email at roman@icprgroup.com. If you have any questions on other projects, you can visit FDOTmiamidade.com. And as you exit the meeting, you will be asked to take your short survey. Thank you very much and have a great evening. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Night.
Good night.
Good
Thank you.
night.